last week, we're talking up an early election, perhaps fuel to the fire today. Anthony Albanese in southeast Queensland announcing some candidates. So is it going to happen? It's going to be live Liberal MP Aaron Violi. Thanks for your time. Want to add in your 2 cents here? Early poll, when will it be and why?
Oh, well, I mean, look, ultimately, there's only one person that knows that. That's the Prime Minister, and he'll make that decision as per the system. But obviously, it looks like he's gearing up to at least have the possibility of an early election. With Queensland state election due later this year, the fact they're pre-selecting candidates at the federal level in Queensland shows that they're getting ready for it, which is their prerogative, no doubt. He would have been spooked, and many Australians were concerned when inflation jumped up to 4%. So, look, it looks like potentially he and the Treasurer are preparing to try and get in front of some bad economic news, and hopefully that doesn't happen for all Australians that are really struggling, but it looks like they're preparing for that, which is, it is what it is.
We'll see. You mentioned his prerogative. It is. Would there be any criticism if he went early? Because from, I think the date's August 8, but mid-August, it is considered full term. That's according to the rules we have. Would the coalition say, fair enough, you can make the call and it is full term at that point?
I mean, it's splitting hairs whether it's August or May in terms of full term. It would be cynical if he went early, particularly given some of the potential economic numbers that might be coming out.
So you'd have a bit of a crack then?
Oh, yeah. If he goes early, it's no doubt because he wants to get inside of these economic numbers. And the Australian people are struggling. As I said, inflation's gone up to 4%. Many experts are predicting potentially a rate rise in August or September. So the cynic says if there's not a rate rise in August, he might want to go early before they go up. But that's what's happening. The Australian people are really struggling at the moment. I think the most disappointing thing, Tom, is whether it's the early election talk of the ALP or the distraction of Senator Payman, Anthony Albanese, Jim Chalmers, the Prime Minister, this government isn't focused on the cost of living crisis. They're not focused on providing tangible solutions for the Australian people. They promised when they were elected over 2 years ago that it would be easier under them, that life would get better. We've only seen it get worse and worse. And that's because this is a government that's focused on politics, focused on spin, and not delivering for the Australian people.
If it is early, you'll need to have your policies out there. I'm assuming there wouldn't be, the use of an early election to say, we can't get all the nuclear policy out there. We need to get some more costings done. We'll still see all the detail.
Well, Peter and Ted have been very consistent in saying that, we're having a mature conversation with the Australian people as we should. And that one important step was to put the locations out. We saw whether it was those memes after they were announced or before it was even announced, ALP members running these scare campaigns that had no validity to them about the location, which is hypocritical given they endorse as a caucus AUKUS and the safety of nuclear for our submariners. So we wanted to make sure we could have a mature conversation about the locations. And Peter and Ted have been really clear in saying we will provide the costings to the Australian people around that and how we can provide energy price relief for the Australian people. But again, Tom, it goes to the hypocrisy of this Prime Minister. He accuses us of and criticises us for not having our costings, yet we've got a thing called the Capacity Investment Scheme, which is one of the key policies of the Minister for Climate Change and Energy, Chris Bowen, and there's no costings on that. There's many policies that Minister Bowen and the Prime Minister have got when it comes to energy, when it comes to reducing emissions, and I'd say reducing prices, but they're driving prices up, which they don't provide costings on. So, I think many people want to see the pricing and the costings for the Capacity Investment Scheme as well. But we'll have ours out before the election, as Peter and Ted have said.
Before we go, I usually sort of ask what politicians are getting up to. And I know it's not a break, you're not on holiday, but, between parliamentary sessions, it looks like, I know already you've been colour-coding your books.
Yeah, well, that's my wife's handiwork, colour coding the books. Well, I was out door knocking yesterday. I'll be out door knocking again tomorrow. I was meeting with constituents. You can't see it, but off to camera, my son, he's been very well behaved on his iPad. So school holidays down here in Victoria, but I'm out talking to community members, which I've been doing since being elected. Was lucky enough to host a community leaders forum with a great organisation called DemocracyCo on Sunday, where we looked at opportunities for Casey as an electorate into the future, and that's what our focus should be on our communities and the Australian people.
Look, we know we don't need kids on screens too much, so we'll end it there. We'll let you say the reward's over. You did well. You were quiet. Aaron Violi, thank you.
Yeah, he'll get a couple of lollies as a reward. Thanks, Tom.
Oh, look at that. Okay.